Good morning, my brothers and sisters, and those at home on YouTube. Well, I want to introduce myself. I attend CR, Celebrate Recovery. Most of you know me as Alex. My full name is Alexander Montoya Prieto. Let me get started. It's not, believe me, this is a limit. I was diagnosed legally blind April of 2019 due to poor management of my diabetes, so I had to get it blown up extra big. I was born in Bakersfield, California, with parents of their own addictions. My father was an alcoholic, and my mother was a marijuana smoker, and after my parents' divorce, became a heroin addict. My parents finalized their divorce when I was 8. At the age of 10, my mother was sent to prison for 10 years, did 6 years due to distribution of heroin. My dad pretty much skipped out on us, and I think we've seen him a few times in the next, 8-9 years. My grandmother saved us after my mother had gone to prison, and she was great to us kids. I have 2 younger brothers, one who's passed on, and I have a sister, a wonderful sister. And our grandmother was great to us for the next 6 years. She was the most amazing person, caregiver that us kids had. When I was 16, during that 6 years, I excelled in baseball and football. I played with anger, and my coaches loved it. I was a 3-time varsity letterman in baseball and as well as in football. I played defense, and I played with anger, and my coaches loved it. I started playing baseball at the age of 5. Through the age of 19, and I blew at 16, my grandmother passed away due to cancer, and I grew angry with God after that. When my grandmother passed away, I died inside as well, and it was hard. It was hard. I rebelled against God, and by doing so, I started drinking heavily and smoking pot. The anger, became a raged anger towards everybody. I became gang affiliated. I started smoking weed and drinking heavily at the age of 16. It was hard. It was hard for me to get through and deal with my grandmother, losing my grandmother. I started selling drugs at the age of 16 as well. And by the age of 18, I had been stabbed a few too many times, shot in the leg, blew a 4-year college scholarship to Cal State Fullerton to play outfield. Also, my dreams of enlisting into the Marine Corps was shot. And I felt myself alone, although I wasn't alone for the next 25 plus years. It wasn't until September 12th of 2018, I had smoked myself silly at my best friend's house from meth, and I couldn't take it anymore. I took off. I packed my belongings and took off, and ended up across the street from Salina Family Health at 4 in the morning waiting for the red bus. And it was really a miracle. And it was meant to happen this way. It was God's intentions that I packed up my belongings and ended up where I was at. For the next 2.5 hours was just a miracle. I felt alone. I felt worthless. I was depressed. I didn't want to live life anymore. I just had enough. And I remember weeping profusely and falling to my knees and putting my hands up in the air and asking God, why me? You know, why did you choose this life for me? And what my father replied to me, and this is so beautiful. So here I am, methed out, and I hear a voice, and I was like, oh my gosh, I smoked myself silly. I'm starting to hear voices. And but it was the most caring, sincere, fatherly, warm voice. And he said to me, you know, my son, I've always been there for you. You just chose to live the way you did because you were angry with me. When I was always there with you, when you were committing sin, when you were at your worst, in your addictions, in your anger, in your rage, I was always there with you, hoping that you would come to me. And now that I have you here and you hear me, you need to make this choice. Are you going to choose to live the way that you don't want to live, or are you going to come to me as my child? And just boom, like that, I made that choice that I wanted to be a part, and I wanted to be a child of God and act like it. And so since then, my life has been amazing. I went to detox that following day, and then I went to the behavioral unit at the Salina Regional Hospital. And then from there, I went to the rescue mission just to stay there for a few days so I could get back home, you know, to my sister. And I said, no, you know, something said go to the Salina rescue mission. And so I let the director at the behavioral unit know, you know, I want to go to the Salina rescue mission. She goes, did you bump your head? And I said, well, no, why would you ask that? She was like, do you know that there are the same issues that you are trying to get away from at the rescue mission? And I said, if I allow it. And so I ended up there, and the assistant director was the second person I had seen there, Ben Jones. I love you, buddy. And for the first time in my life, I heard words and trusted them. And when he said, you know, brother, we have room in the New Life program. You don't look so well. This would be an opportunity for you. I said, dude, I'm like almost blind. He goes, we can help you with that. And for the first time in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit, I trusted somebody. So I filled it out. And a week and a half later, I'm up in this program thinking to myself, how am I going to read scripture? I mean, little words. Thank you, Ron Kramer. Him and Jason Ryan went out in search and found me one of the biggest magnifying glasses I had ever seen in my life, and it's helped me. I got to meet Jesse Smith, who's been a great person. Everybody there at the mission are awesome. I got to be a part of the program with a good brother, Jason. I've met a lot of great people there. Brian Hernandez has been awesome, a good mentor. Tom Davis. Everybody there has been a blessing, and I have grown so much. I still have a little issue with my anger, but when I go to God, He relieves it. He helps me. I pray a lot, and I was so angry at Him, but He still accepted me as His child and has forgiven me. And there's a scripture that I want to leave with. It's from Isaiah 38. And this is what helps me get through in my days, especially, sorry. So it's out of Isaiah 38, midway through 14 to 17. It says, my eyes grew tired of looking at the heavens. Please help me, God. I am in trouble. Lord, help me. But what could I say? For he himself sent this sickness. Now I will humbly, throughout my years, because of this anguish I have felt. Lord, your discipline is good, for it leads to life and health. You restore my health and allow and allow me to live. Yes, this anguish was good for me, for you have restored me from death and have forgiven me of all my sins. Thank you.